Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at another Dragon Stars figure. And yeah, I thought with the imminent release, that's a big word, the imminent release of both the Demoniacal Fit and Tonsenart slash Kami 1, I'm led to believe that's their actual name, it's not Kamione, it's Kami 1, so yeah, fair enough. But yeah, with those due to release pretty much right around the corner, within a few days, in fact, for Demoniacal Fit at least, yeah, I thought it was time to finally get my hands on the Dragon Stars Janemba. For some strange reason, again, Dragon Stars pronouncing it, or spelling it, a weird way. It's Janemba to them. I've never seen it pronounced that way in my life. It's always been Janemba with an M. So yeah, whatever the name may be, this is everyone's favourite knockoff Majin Buu from the Dragon Ball Z movie, Fusion Reborn, which, as with most Dragon Ball Z movies, can't fit neatly into the Dragon Ball Z timeline. So yeah, a bit unfortunate because Janemba's design is, in my opinion, probably a bit better than Buu's. But yeah, he's essentially Majin Buu without the ability to absorb. That's pretty much what he is. And he also loves saying his own name, which, yeah, closer to a Pokemon, I believe. But yeah, before we get into it, I will specify that I got this cheaply off eBay from a seller. He was selling part of his collection. Always a shame to see that happen, but hey-oh. So, unfortunately, I am missing one of the hands from this set. I don't think he even realised he was selling it without it. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It was cheap, so I can't really complain that much. But yeah, I'm missing one of the gripping hands. But yeah, let's get him off the turntable and take a look at the box. So yeah, pretty standard for Dragon Stars packaging. It is an older style figure, and to my knowledge, they've never re-released this guy or reissued him, outside of a 2-pack with Super Gogeta, which the less said about that figure, the better. He was way too tall, and yeah, not the best. But then again, most of the human characters in Dragon Stars, yeah, those molds aren't great. The ones where they have to make unique molds, like Janemba or Perfect Cell, yeah, those do tend to be really good. But yeah, any that are based off the Goku mold or the Vegeta mold, yeah, you're on to plums with that one. But yeah, anyway, standard packaging. We've got Dragon Ball Super on there, even though this is from Dragon Ball Z, but let it slide. Bandai up the top corner, Dragon Stars series, Janemba, with, again, as I said before, the weird spelling of it. That just looks wrong, I'm sorry. On this side, we have really nice image of him on the back, with a sword that quite frankly looks nothing like the one he comes with, which is a bit strange. He also has that really evil looking smirk with the teeth. Unfortunately, the figure itself does not do that. He's got a stern face, which, did Janemba ever have a stern face? I really don't know. And yeah, on the back, we have image of series 17 and 18. When was this produced? 2020, so 5 years ago at this point. Quite old. But yeah, whoever posed these, I don't know how you've still got a job, to be quite honest with you. The Janemba looks lanky as anything, with horrible looking hips. I mean, if anything, those horrible looking hips probably gave him more articulation than the actual figure has, but we will get to that in a second. Yeah, legalese down the bottom. Not to 3 sad onions. We love to see it. Made in China. And then we've got the Bandai America stuff on there. And yeah, decent enough. I did almost pull the trigger on that Gotenks last year. He was really cheap at the time, and I was going to get the Super Saiyan 3 custom hair and try and fit it on the body, but I didn't know if it was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to work. And yeah, that hair set, that went up in price quickly. So yeah, I abandoned that, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get the box out of the way and take a look at what he comes with. So, in terms of accessories, he's supposed to come with 3 pairs of hands, which is actually a decent amount for a Dragon Stars, not going to lie. But yeah, I only have 5 hands here. Like I said before, we have a pair of fists, we have a pair of grippy style hands. Kind of wish these were splayed open hands. I don't know why Dragon Stars insists on just continually using this same mold for the grippy hands. It only works for Goku. And yeah, we are supposed to have a pair of sort of grippy hands for the sword, which is, yeah, the sword itself is decent. It seems a bit more like a paddle than a sword. It's quite big, quite thick, and quite obviously doesn't have a pointy tip to it. But you can't really blame the designers of Dragon Stars for that. This is like kind of a collector's series of figures, but it's kind of mainstream as well. It is in normal shops, at least in America. In the UK they don't really stock it, but the UK is boring. But yeah, we have some nice metallic purple and metallic reds on there, and some white on the handle. So yeah, nicely painted. It just doesn't look much like Janemba's sword is supposed to. If we quickly bring this back in, you can see it's got like a batarang sort of design on it, which, yeah, that's just not present on this at all. Completely different. I haven't actually looked up what his sword actually looks like, so yeah, for all I know, this is accurate. So I will plead ignorance there. Yeah, in order to get it into his hand, because the hands are very hard plastic, I have no idea why they didn't just make it out of the same plastic as the weapons, which is quite a bit more flexible, but hey yo. Best way to do it is to put it through the thumb and the finger, first of all. You can see once it does that, it kind of fits itself in, and then just rotate it slightly. And just like that, it is pretty much secure in there. So yeah, that will be staying as such for the rest of the review. One thing I will say is, obviously the hands, the nails are not painted, because I think this is just orange coloured standard hands that we would get with Goku or whatever. So yeah, bit of a shame there, but it works out, so can't be too annoyed with it. But yeah, let's finally get the figure itself out here, shall we? So, in terms of Janemba himself, I quite like him, to be completely honest with you. Let's quickly pop the hands back on, just to see how that works. As with most Dragon Stars, they are very Figuarts reminiscent, just very thickened pegs, so that they don't snap as easy in a child's sort of hand. There we go. Get on there. There we go. Right, so looking good. The only thing, well, there's a few issues with it. Sorry, I was moving the accessories out of the way. But yeah, there are a couple of issues with them. As with all Dragon Stars, like, first off, the face itself looks really good. Like, that is probably one of the best likenesses Dragon Stars have done. Yeah, really, really close to Janemba. It's just the facial features are all lost. One, because of the semi-glossy sort of plastic, and two, because there's no shading on him whatsoever, which yeah, Dragon Stars don't tend to do if they can help it. But yeah, I think a bit of a panel line on his mouth for starters, and maybe his ears would really make this guy pop. But yeah, I don't know why he has a stern face as his default, and I think the version that comes with Gogeta in the 2-pack has like a yelling face, which, to be fair, he does do that in some of his attacks. But yeah, where's the maniacal grin, Dragon Stars? Like, he's one of the most well known for the sort of maniacal grin, because he's practically insane. He's a demon. He's meant to be. Speaking of, really disappointed this guy did not appear in Daima. Spoilers for, well, I say spoilers, it's been out for months at this point. But yeah, disappointed this guy did not appear in Daima in any way. Which, yeah, a shame, because it's probably one of the best designs that they could reuse from the movies. But yeah, the overall, like, sculpt of this guy is really, really good. I love it. He doesn't need a whole lot of detail. Like, they have sculpted enough that it sort of shades itself, sort of thing. I just really don't like the semi-gloss on this guy at all. They even painted his toenail, which is a bit weird considering they didn't paint his hands, his fingernails. But hey-oh. But yeah, overall, really, really like it. I think the tail is a little bit weird. They have given it a decent amount of articulation. We will go over that more in the, well, articulation part. But yeah, Janemba's tail was never really up this far. It was mostly down and out. So yeah, not sure what they were doing there. But it's something I can live with, definitely. But yeah, overall, really like the design of this guy. Articulation-wise, this guy falls a little bit short, to be completely honest. So yeah, the head does not move up at all. That is as far as you are getting, unfortunately. Doesn't really go down either, much at all. We have a bit of swivel and a tiny bit of tilt, but that is your whack. That is genuinely it. Even the neck barely moves. That kind of goes forward and back. But yeah, no point in having ball pegs on this guy. They don't work. His arms can go up that far. They can swivel. The shoulder piece is a floating sort of cap that goes between the shoulder and the body. Really nicely done. Bicep swivel, really nice. Double joint at the elbow, gets that much. Not bad, not terrible. The wrists are on a ball hinge. The waist, or rather the abs, they are on a ball joint, but you can only really get it back that far and forward that far. Not much at all. We have on the tail a ball joint going into a hinge joint, so it does get a decent amount of range on there. Just the tail itself is sculpted in such a unique way that you can't really do anything with it. Bit strange. He has a sort of waist rotation if you take into account the abs moving. The hips are completely useless, like pretty much. I even had to put a bit of silicone oil into this guy to just stop him being so tight. When I first got him, I couldn't do that at all. That is as high as he kicks, by the way, and that's going weird angles because of how they've sculpted this. They were kind of like between a rock and a hard place there because they wanted the sculpt to be proper, but at the same time that limits pretty much anything. And then his leg has just popped off. But yeah, you pull down the hips, and that is the absolute max he can go out. Really not great. Let's be honest. He's got thigh rotation. He can kick back, but that far. Double joint at the knees, gets but that far. Again, Dragon Stars, they haven't really accounted for any of the sculpt. They've just shoved the joints in, called it a day. And in fact, you can even see a sort of arrow there, in case they forget how the knees go on this guy. Feet are on a ball peg, which you can just about make out in there. So it can go forward and back, and it can do a little bit of tilt, not too much. Most of the Dragon Stars, you can sort of maneuver that ball hinge in there, but this guy, it's so deeply embedded into that foot that you really can't do much with it. Yeah, overall, it's a decent looking figure that doesn't get the best articulation, to be honest. He will be nice on the back of my display. But yeah, if you really wanted this guy, make sure you do what I do and get him really reduced price, because he's not going to do a whole lot of articulation or posing. Let's see if that pops on. There we go. Nice. So yeah, overall guys, really decent figure. Even if it doesn't articulate too well, the sculpt itself is really good. He strikes a mean pose, but I am really hoping either Tamashii or a third party come to our rescue with regards to Janemba. We need a highly articulated one. That's just how it is. Before we go, let's get a quick size comparison in. And yeah, he is a pretty tall boy, but then I believe Janemba was, just in general. So yeah, really decent little figure. Just make sure you can get him on sale. But yeah guys, that'll do it for this review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.